Fantasy Knits. This is chapter 3, and funny story, I had already recorded this a long time ago, and I edited some of it, and then I decided to bring it with me to my current abode of work. So I was in South Georgia for an entire month in a house, and I brought my laptop and my SD card magically disappeared. I remember putting it in one of the zipper pouches inside my suitcase, and then I went to go get it like a couple days later and not there. So that was cool. And my camera takes like the high definition one, so it's like $30 more to get one of these SD cards, so I didn't buy one. And then I got sick, really sick for 2 weeks. I had like no voice, so I'm still coughing up disgusting phlegm, so there may be some edits because I'm clearing my throat and it sounds really gross and you probably don't want to hear it, but I'm ready. I got a new SD card, obviously, and it's kind of dark, but we're gonna deal with it. So it's not gonna be the same as what I recorded before, because again, I recorded like over a month ago, and I have since finished stuff, and I also don't remember what I said. So we're just gonna start. I have some started quests, or some works in progress, and I think they're all new from the last episode. So the first thing I want to show is, it is a new shawl. It is called The Miller's Daughter, and it is by Melanie Burke, and I have barely started it. It's lace weight, so it takes a while. And right now it's striping. It's very faint. That's actually the right size. It's very faint, but it's this orange yarn that I don't know what it's called. I don't remember. It's a single ply. I got it many, many years ago, and I started a scarf with it, and then I just I stopped working on it, and I figured, you know what, I'm probably not gonna really wear a lace knit scarf right now, and I would much rather it be a shawl combined with this guy. I feel like my lighting always makes everything very orangey, but this is Hedgehog Fibers in their lace yarn, and I want to say it's either Genie or Zephyr, because I have both of them, and I can't remember which one this one is, but it's more pink, but it's got blue speckles, green speckles, orange speckles, and then of course like highlighter pink speckles. It's really pretty, and I thought maybe the striped with the orange would tame it down a bit, and so far I'm liking the way it looks. I was working on it last night, and I came to the last row for the stripes before I start the lace, and I counted and I realized I was so off, which the pattern, it's a paid for pattern, but the stripe section just doesn't come natural to me. Like the increases in where the increases and decreases are, I'm like constantly looking at the pattern and I'm constantly making mistakes. So I think I'm just gonna fudge it till I get to the right number, and then, you know, start with the lace, because I'm not frogging back lace, which I've already done numerous times. So I'm just gonna increase here and there until I make it to the right amount of stitches. It is in my Minnie Mouse progress bag that I made myself. This one turned out so much nicer than the first one I made. The stitching is a lot more even. Like, look how even I got there. Yeah, so see, it all comes to a perfect point. Now this side, not so even, but one side's even, so I'm gonna count that as a win. I took a private sewing class or lesson with someone in the area, and it was very much worth it. I now know how my machine works. I know about all the different tools that it came with, and I had a pattern explained to me how I can make a dress, and then we made this bag together. So it was awesome. I had a blast. I kind of felt bad because like the entire time I was suppressing my coughs, like to the point where as soon as I left, I mean, I had such a coughing fest, coughing and coughing, but I mean, I couldn't cancel, and I was sick for 2 weeks, so my voice is still a little bit froggy, but I don't know. I think sometimes whenever the temperature changes or the weather changes, my allergies get really bad, and this year my asthma has been very bad, which is weird because it almost never rears its head. So it's been a annoying change of season. So again, that was The Miller's Daughter by Melanie Berg. It's a shawl, it's got stripes and lace, and it is a paid-for pattern that I will hopefully enjoy more once it's like a little bit wider. Another started quest is the Reina Shawl. Now, this was kind of in hibernation. I started it maybe in November, and then Christmas knitting happened, so I stopped working on it. But this is what I bring to work because it's so mindless and so easy to follow. Funny enough, this is in my first made bag, which you could tell is a lot, well, I don't know if you could tell on camera that it's a lot worse, but believe me, it is. But this one's got a little dangly bead. I have to find some sort of Mickey bead for that one, the other one. So this one I do have the ball band. I'm not sure what the ball bands went for the other ones, but this is in Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the Magic colorway. So this is the Reina Shawl. Not very far along, and that is the front right here. But Magic colorway is very bright. I'm thinking that I maybe should like put a border of black, which I think would tie very nicely in. My only complaint with the pattern, it is free, and I should, it's Reina, which I've already said, a shawl, and it is by Nora Levola. Sorry if I got that wrong, and my show notes are right down there, so that's why I'm looking down. They're on my hotel paper from the Crown Plaza. Most of my show notes / any notes that I write are on hotel notebook paper because when I first started, I felt the need to always take it. Like, always. Now I have a stack like this high of hotel notebook paper. So if anyone wants some, I'll send you some. My only complaint about the pattern, which it's not even really the pattern, it's just where the stitch marker is. So this, it's free, so I don't feel bad explaining it. It's a very standard triangular shawl format in where you increase on the sides and then you increase on either side of the center stitch. Now the difference on this one is that you're actually knitting that yarn over so that you aren't getting the holes. But in the pattern, there's only one stitch marker, which I just don't like. I want 2 stitch markers, one on either side, so that I'm not constantly like, oh, I'm on the right side, so that means I knit to the stitch marker, or I'm on the wrong side, where I knit 2 stitches before the stitch marker. I just don't want to think. So I just need to get another stitch marker to put on this pattern, or on this project, and then I'll be good. And it's just a little bead that I made. And I didn't talk about the needles on the first one, but they are on, I think they're on size 3 ChowGoo 40 inch, because I like ChowGoo. So that's what I bought. I bought it on Amazon. It came in 2 days, so then I was able to start knitting on Sunday. These are on Knit Picks, I don't know, size 5 or something like that. They are the Harmony needles, but it's on a different cord because the needles that came with this cord are too big, so I just switched it out. So yep, here's the cake. This is also, it's a single ply because it's Tosh Merino Light. I love single ply. I think single ply might be my favorite yarn type to knit with. That is the second quest that I'm on. And then the third one, I'm going to pull it over here, is a cardigan. Oh shoot. Okay, there we go. It is a cardigan called Ginny. And I am this far. Okay, that's the front. So here, this is the back that I'm knitting right now. So down here is moss stitch, and then you do some, these like rib things, and you increase. This is a pattern by Kim Hargreaves, which I am such a fan of her style of patterns, but I am not a fan of the way she writes her patterns. I mean, it's in this book. It's in Amber, A Winter Gathering, which is one of her earlier books, 2008. And Ginny, and I'll show you a picture, is this one right here. So I love it. I love the model. I think the model is very pretty. And I love the sweater on her. But I am having to keep very detailed notes as I make this, because the pattern is just kind of hard to read. It's from the notes on Ravelry. It's a very easy sweater or cardigan, but supposedly it's short in the like in the body, but then very long in the arms. And the arms, the sleeves are very poofy, which I did not realize, but I'm gonna make them poofy because I think that'll be cool. I'm adding some more increases to the body. I haven't gotten to the sleeves yet to decide what I'm gonna do, but it calls for Rowan felted tweed and 7 skeins of it. I didn't want to buy 7 skeins of Rowan felted tweed because that would be like, I think it was gonna put me at like 70 bucks, and I didn't feel like spending that much money. So what I did instead was bought a bunch of the City Tweed DK from Knit Picks, and it is in the plum wine color, and it is super soft. So far I'm really liking the fabric that it makes. I've gone through 1 skein and I just started a second one, and I bought 10 skeins, so I should definitely have enough, because this is 1 skein, and then, I mean, this is the back, so I've got a little more than double this to the sleeve. I think double this to the sleeves, so that'll be another 2. Sleeves will probably each take 2. So I think I'll have at least a skein left after I'm done. I did all the calculations many years ago when I first bought this yarn to make this exact same sweater, and now I'm finally doing it. My stitch markers are not on here anymore. That's probably what fell, maybe. But I have a progress keeper that I was keeping track of the rows, because it's like a repeat of 8, and then I did an extra repeat to make the moss a little longer. It was actually a mistake. I somehow, I don't even know, I thought I was being very careful. I somehow did a whole extra repeat, so I decreased to the extra small size. I'm knitting the small, but I somehow ended up with the stitch count of the extra small, so I'm gonna increase back to the small, so that's where I'm gonna get my length. That's my thought, at least. But my progress keeper is this little guy right here, and for those of you who were in Molly's A Homespun House sock club that was Tim Burton. It was Tim Burton themed. This was the December charm that came with our yarn, and it is from A Nightmare Before Christmas. It's the soup that Sally gives her maker to poison him. So that's just sitting on the front to tell me what's the front and what's the back. And that is Ginny, my sweater or cardigan, and hopefully I actually finish it, because that'll be the first cardigan I've ever finished in my entire life. I have a tunic sweater that was made out of Thick and Quick, Woolies Thick and Quick. It used like 3 or 4 skeins, super fast to knit, very warm, so warm. And I messed up on the short rows because I'd never done those before and I didn't understand them. So there's holes in it, and it's like super short because I've gained weight since college. I finished it my sophomore year, and then my junior year I lost weight because I was mad. I was irritated that I was still living in the dorms and I wanted to be off campus, so I canceled my meal plan. Yeah, the only person I hurt was myself, but yeah, so I knit it, and it fits fine now, but it's not as loose as it was before. So now when I wear it, it's like a legit sweater, whereas before I could wear it as a dress. Maybe it's shrank when I washed it, but I don't think so. Other things in this book that I want to make, I mean, there's so many things, but I was thinking, so Molly has been posting some not Kid Silkays, but like mohair skeins that she's been dyeing up, and I was thinking I would maybe making something like this, because this is out of Kid Silkays. I can't remember if that's what hers was as well, but I thought that would be nice. And then I really like all 3 of the ones that are here. So that's Ginny in the middle. I like this one, and then this one's nice too. I don't like the shirt that's underneath it. I think that looks a little weird, but I don't really like that. This one is nice as well, and this one comes up a lot in her books, like this style. I have more of her books. I love like this. It's just a giant spread, and the model is like right in the fold, but these books they're art. They're not just patterns. I'm a big fan of this guy. It's made out of some very bulky yarn, but it would be so warm. It's called Beth. Yeah, the pattern names are at the bottom. There's almost always a hat included, and that is actually the only thing I have that I have knit is a hat. Yeah, that's all I want to show you. So this is Amber. This is one of her, this is like the fall book. I'm not sure. It looks fall because of that, but I could be wrong. She doesn't design as much anymore, and I don't know if she designs at all. I think there was something to do, because she pretty much uses Rowan yarn exclusively. So, yep, that's that, and that is my last started quest, or quests that I'm on. Now, finished quests, other than the ends aren't woven in because that's life. I have 2 pairs of socks to show you because it has been a while. And these are my February socks. They kind of pooled a bit, but it honestly is more noticeable on camera than it is in real life. So you can tell this one has some definite striped pooling, but when I look at it, I don't notice it as much, which I think is just the way that the colors play on the screen. This one had a little bit of laddering, but again, I don't really notice it until I look at the viewfinder. I made them rather long, and I still had some left over, which I believe I sent to somebody. And I did a rounded toe and a fish lips kiss heel. No, and there's not really a gap. So just the ends to weave in. Boop, boop. Now I also made my March socks, and these were entered into Candace on the Pin Feathers and Pearl, her stripy sock cow, which was her 2nd year in a row, or 2nd annual, whatever you want to call it. And I messed up. So I was doing these on a plane. Here they are. Here's one pair. And this is the one that's correct. I did purple heels, toes, and cuffs. And I pointed at the wrong things, but heels, toes, and cuffs. I had to think about it. And it is in Sweet Georgia. One of the colors in the Party of 5, which I can't tell any of them apart. I bought the purple one, the Royals. They literally, like, the colors themselves look different, but the little tag on the back does not, no. I can't tell them by the tag. So that's annoying. Because I think the one I bought them, they were in a different order, because the lightest one was definitely not the lightest one on the back of the card. So, oh well. Here it is. So yeah, this is the Party of 5 Sweet Georgia. And then this guy is a Cascade heritage print. So it did some self-striping. It ended up really nice. It's very soft. It's softer than both of the other 2 socks that I made. And here's the other one. Can you tell that I messed up? I messed up right here. It's like a box. I read the pattern wrong. So when I cast off, like 5 rows too early. So it's like a box. When I wear it, you can't even tell, but when like look at it. Yeah, it's like a box. So I did not want to undo, because look how good that looks. I didn't want to undo it. Whatever, I give up. It is finished. It's a really good Kitchener stitch. So, messed up on that, but when I go to weave in the ends, I'll fix the toe. So those were my March socks. I didn't get them done in time for the sock bash of March. And it's April, it's mid-April, and I don't feel like knitting more socks. So I'm skipping out on April. Now I think I'll do May though. What else did I? Oh yes! I finished my Oaklet shawl. Also, ends are not woven in. But here it is. I even blocked it. It looks really nice. Very nice. So it's a smaller shawl. It's smaller than my wingspan, but I just want to wear it like this. It ended up looking very nice. I did mess up right. You can kind of see it. There's like a weird like fold in the fabric. I have honestly no idea what I did. And I was at the lace by the time I even saw the mistake. So I just decided, no, I'll live with it. Which, I don't know if you could see it. There. So there it is. There's the mistake. Not a big deal. Non-knitters aren't going to notice it, and when I have it wrapped around my neck, you're not going to notice it either. So that's my Oaklet shawl. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is called, I've told you already. It's the Oaklet shawl by It's the Oaklet Shawl by Megan Goodacre, and the yarn I used was Highland Handmaids in the red maple sock in Captain Kenway, the colorway. I did not use all of it. I don't remember how much I had, but not enough to do another lace repeat. Those are my completed quests, the 2 socks and the shawl. And now on to Smaug's Trove. I couldn't remember what I had shown, what I didn't show, so I just picked out the most recent stuff, and that is these 4 skeins. I went to one of my local yarn shops. It's in downtown Dayton, and it's called Strings Attached, and I bought 2 La Yola skeins that are 100% superwash merino, 400 yards, fingering weight. And this one is called Lavender Love. So it's lavender with shots of a darker pink and like a very dark mauve color. And then I got the same one called Pecan, and I got it to match. Now this is like a dusty gray. I'm not sure why it's called pecan, because pecans aren't this color, but okay. I got them to go together because I thought they would make a really pretty shawl. And yeah, you know, I used to not buy expensive yarn, but this was 32, this one was 32, so if I make them together, that's a $64 shawl. That's quite expensive. But it could be worse. I could be on drugs. I participated in the Knittorious podcast Podiversary swap. My swap partner was Mary Beth, who is the dyer, and she has a podcast for the Toad Hollows yarn, and I believe her podcast is just Toad Hollows. She does it with her sister, I believe. Sorry if that's not your sister, but I think it's your sister. And they have various animals that will show up during the podcast, which is always cute. So she was my partner. It was completely my fault. I didn't realize that it wasn't a true swap. I thought that the person who was gifting to you, you were gifting to them. That's not how it was. So I completely messed up. So it was fine. I sent off 2 packages instead of just 1 because we had increased what we were going to give. I think I mentioned this in like a lot of other videos. I really don't care for minis. I have so much yarn already. Minis are just something I don't want to start accumulating because my apartment is getting to the point where I have just too many hobbies that take up certain spots, and they're like, I can't even have bar stools because underneath the bar is where I keep my board games. And I'm not saying like 1 board game, not 10 board games. I think I have close to 60 board games. That might be excessive. I love games though, so that's where they go. And I have like 50 coloring books. Do I need that many coloring books? No, but I want them. I also think it's because it's not such an expensive gift that if someone sees a coloring book for $5, they get it for me. So I accumulate a lot of coloring books. I love them, but I have a thing where I can't just flip to a random page and color. I need to start from the beginning. It drives me insane. Like, I won't let other people color my coloring books unless they color the next page. I know that sounds so stupid just saying it, but it makes me really anxious when you don't color the next thing. Like, you know when you open a coloring book, there's even like there'll be a little picture on the front cover. You gotta color that first. I'm terrible, I know, but no, you just need color. This is not a coloring podcast, but I'm like looking at them and it's just making me think about it. Back to what I was saying. Mary Beth hosts, or is one of the people who hosts the Toad Hollows podcast, and she also has Toad Hollow Yarns, and she hails out of Keyport, New Jersey, which I have never been to Keyport, New Jersey, but I have been to New Jersey before. And her tag is adorable. I know I'm talking about it without even showing it to you, but hopefully, let's see if I can do this and get that tag to focus. Perfect. It's so stinking cute. It's the first thing I noticed. I thought, oh, that is so adorable. And the color is so wonderful. This is her, what is this? Her base is called Drizella. It's 80% merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards in her Warrior Princess colorway. One, love the name Warrior Princess. And it's a gold and mauvey pinky plum color. Oh, it's so pretty. I can't wait to make something out of this. I'm not sure what, but oh, it's gorgeous. I love the golds and this purpley mauve color together. Such a big fan. I love gold. I like gold more than silver. Yeah, when I was like 13 or 14, I wanted to wear the gold necklace, not the silver one. And then the other skein that she chose for me is from Chelsea Yarns. It is their Luxe yarn. And this is a 100% superwash merino in a single ply, and it is in the minty unicorn colorway. Most of you, actually pretty much all of you, unless you know me in person, at work we do like an icebreaker, and it's what's your spirit animal, and my animal is always a unicorn. So this is perfect. I love mint. My living room is actually painted mint. This is my craft corner, and you pretty much only see this window, but the wall is gray. I think it's called Lady Gray or something, but it's gray. So I don't know why I'm telling you that, but this skein is beautiful. So it's got the mint for the minty unicorn part, and then there's this beautiful pink. There is even some gold. It's like a rusty gold color, almost bronze. And then the mint blended with the pink turns into this beautiful like fuchsia color. Here's a good blend of it. So there's a purple chunk. Big fan. Again, not sure what I'm going to make with this, but I love it. And funny enough, Chelsea Yarns, which I'll just hold this guy up for a little bit. Chelsea Yarns is a yarn store that I have been to before during my travels, and it's in New Jersey, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it's in New Jersey. Maybe it's in Chelsea, but the tag doesn't really say. I think it's New Jersey. Sorry if I'm wrong, sorry. But I like to keep the business cards from the yarn stores that I go to, and Chelsea Yarn has the best business card that I've received or taken from a yarn store. It is a circle. It's thick. It's almost as thick as a like a cardboard coaster, but it's slightly smaller and thinner. But it's so cool. I keep it in my wallet. Well, I did keep it in my wallet. My wallet was stolen also during this hiatus, so that's been super fun. But negativity away. But the business card was a circle, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And when I open my own yarn store or anything like that, I'm gonna have circle business cards. It's probably like stupid expensive, but it was just so cool. Like, that's how I even remember this yarn store. I don't remember anything about it other than it was in a shopping strip, like a shopping strip, and I think there weren't 2 floors. There's just one. And then they had bunting as their logo, and that's all I remember. and I was alone. I did not have a coworker with me. But the business card's all I remember. I don't even remember what I bought there. I would probably have to like dig through my stuff because on the ball bands I tend to write where I bought it and what I was doing, like what dealership I was at or whatever. So I'd have to look, but I remember their business card and it was adorable. Okay. The last thing that I want to bring into Smaug's Trove is this guy. So I bought Stephen West's West Knits Best Knits shawl #1, and I got it spiral bound at Office Depot. I got this idea from Tracy and Jody of the Grocery Girls, and oh my gosh, it's life-changing. So I don't want to get it, but like with books, I'm constantly like holding them like this and then reading it and then closing them again. This makes it so much easier. I don't think I could like have the heart to get these spiral bound just because they're so pretty, and the paper is very thick, but this is perfect. And the guy who did it for me, we compared, made sure it wasn't going to cut off the words, and decided what kind of spiral binding to use and all of that. But I think he was very curious about this book, because even while, after we did it, he like opened it up and was looking at some of the things that were in there, and he was like, this looks as if you bought it like that, and he was proud of his work. But I also think he was curious about the stuff that was in here. But, oh, I'm so excited. So, this guy was $35. I bought it at my local yarn store. Again, it's by Stephen West, and it starts here, the shawls that it comes with. So you get the expiration station, which I'm excited to knit, dotted rays, doodler, vertices united, striped bolting, starburst, color craving, excuse me shawl, which Kristen from the Wool and Vine podcast just knit and slide, garter breeze, boardwalk, holy chevrons, brioche chevron wrap. Those are the shawls that it comes with. So each of those shawls are around $6, so you're getting a really good deal by getting by purchasing the book. This is my other addition to Smaug's Trove. And now this leads us to the last segment, which is a novel idea. And what would be a novel idea is if I had the novel here. So, one sec, I'm gonna go get it. Sorry if the camera moved, I just kicked it. For the a novel idea segment, the book that I want to recommend is Eon by Alison Goodman. So this novel is about Eon, the main character, and well, I guess I can give it away because it's on the back blurb. Eon is actually Iona, so she is disguised as a guy because she is training to hopefully be selected as one of, what are they, dragon keepers or something? I forget what they're called. I read this book a long time ago, and I really need to reread it again. It's super good. But so only boys can be selected as a dragon companion type thing. It's set in, I think it's like a historical China with the zodiac playing a very big role in the magic system. And Iona's secret kind of comes to light, and not everyone, but a lot of people find out that she's actually a girl. So, of course, war ensues, not necessarily because she's a girl, but war ensues, and she is trying to come to grips with herself, her situation, because she comes from not the best of backgrounds. And what I found very interesting with this book was she's actually, quote, and I mean they say it all the time, she's crippled. So she has a bad leg or a bad foot, and has a hard time, you know, walking, fighting, moving around type things. And I found that very interesting because I think a lot of times in novels, young adult novels, the characters are flawed, but they're flawed in their character, whether they get angry or they are so courageous that they're stupid. But Iona is actually physically damaged, and that causes her problems in the book. So I highly recommend Ione, and it's actually duology. Iona is the second book in the series, also equally as large and also very good. I got Ione, I don't remember when, and I loved it. So actually I purchased it because Tamora Pierce, or Tamara, I grew up calling her Tamora, so in my mind she's always going to be Tamora, but I think it's Tamara. Tamora Pierce blurbed it right on the front, and she was my absolute favorite author growing up, and so I had to read it. And as soon as I did, holy crap, I was so excited for this book. And I read this book as soon as it came out. I contacted Allison Goodman on Goodreads to let her know how much I loved her books, because I did, and I do. They were so good. And it was so cool she wrote me back. It made my day. I think I was a sophomore in college. When did this book come out? Yeah, I would have been a sophomore in college when this came out. And I contacted her and let her know how much I loved it, and she actually contacted me back. She sent me a nice little note and told me about the book she was writing, and I actually purchased that book too. It came out much later. I think it came out last year or 2 years ago, but it's like full circle. And with that, that is the end of this chapter, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!